Hello and welcome to the State Draft. I'm Purva Chitnis, special correspondent with ThePrint. Today, in this episode of the State Draft, we will be talking about the Mumbai-Goa Highway. Now, those familiar with Maharashtra know that Mumbai-Goa Highway has been under construction for many years. So, what is the hold-up? Why is it getting delayed? What is the importance of this particular highway and what next for this highway? We will be discussing all of this in this episode of the State Draft. Now, before we understand the details of this project and the politics behind this project, let us understand why this highway is important. Now, this highway is about 550 odd kilometers, but about 470 kilometers lie in Maharashtra. It runs from Panvel in Mumbai all the way up to Patradevi in Sindhudurg. Now, this includes the industrial areas of Raigad and also beautiful nature and scenery in Konkan. Also, a lot of people from Konkan come to the Mumbai metropolitan regions like Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai. They come to MMR for work, and in fact they go back to their native places, especially during the 10-day Ganesh festival. Now, the Ganesh festival that begins on Saturday, it is important for people living in Konkan that they go back to their native place to celebrate this festival. Now, according to the government data, last year, about 1.8 lakh people took buses, the state buses, to go from the MMR region all the way to different places in Konkan, to different native places in Konkan. And this year, the government estimates that in 5,000 state-run buses, over 2 lakh people will be traveling. Now, this is just people who will be taking the state-run buses to go to Konkan. There will be many more people who will be taking their cars to go to Konkan. So this is not a small number. Lakhs and lakhs of people visit Konkan to their native places. And this entire stretch, the National Highway 66 or the Mumbai-Goa Highway, that is why very important. However, this highway is full of potholes and there are construction activities going on along the entire stretch of the highways, and it is not making the ride smoother and pothole free as the government had promised. Now, let's talk about the details of this project and why it is taking so long for the construction of this project. Now, the National Highway 66, the Mumbai-Goa Highway, was already a 2-lane existing highway. But then it was decided in 2007 by the then UPA government that this highway needs to be expanded from 2-lane to 4-lane. There were many accidents on this road, there were many potholes, and that is why it was decided that the expansion of this highway needs to be undertaken. This key highway, which is a very key connector from Mumbai to Konkan. And that is why this first in 2007, it was planned that this highway would be expanded. But the construction work did not begin until 2010. In fact, the forest clearance came in 2009, but because of the one stretch, that is the Karnala Bird Sanctuary, the forest clearance for that particular stretch did not come in. It was challenged in the court, and the NGT, the National Green Tribunal, did not give a go-ahead until 2015, when it gave a go-ahead to construct in the Karnala Bird Sanctuary. Now, there was a 6-year delay because of the litigation on that particular stretch, and the construction did not start in this particular area, the Karnala Bird Sanctuary area. However, meanwhile, the land acquisition for this project and also the construction activities wherever the land was acquired had already begun. Now, this highway was then divided into 10 packages. 2 packages from Panvel all the way up to Indapur, that is the 84-kilometer stretch, would be undertaken by the NHAI, and the rest would be constructed by the state PWD department. In 2014, the government changed. From UPA, it was the Modi government, and then Union Minister Nitin Gadkari was looking after this project as well. Now, as I mentioned, NHAI was to develop the 84-kilometer stretch from Panvel all the way to Indapur. And in that particular stretch, the Karnala Bird Sanctuary was there. And as I mentioned earlier, the NGT clearance did not come in before 2015, and once the clearance came in, the land acquisition and the work around it also began. But in the meanwhile, the contractor that NHAI had appointed ran into financial troubles. Now, first, this was given on a BOT model. Now, what is BOT model? BOT model is build, operate and transfer, which means the contractor, the private contractor would build the entire project, maintain it and transfer it back to the government after a certain period. And during this period, this contractor that the NHAI had appointed ran into financial troubles. Initially, post 2015, NHAI even helped this contractor financially. However, the road construction still took time. And finally, in 2021, the NHAI decided that they would terminate the contract of this contractor. And in 2022, they appointed a new contractor based on the EPC model, which means the entire control would be with the NHAI and NHAI would be releasing the funds as and when required. So now the NHAI says that the work is going on smooth and this contractor they have control over, they are also undertaking this contract. But till that time, many years went by. In fact, initially in 2010, when the first construction began on this highway, it was decided that the highway expansion project would be over by 2016. But that did not happen. Then later on, just ahead of the elections in 2019, the then Chief Minister Ravindra Chavan and Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, they both had claimed that by 2019 end of the year, the highway would be complete. That deadline was again pushed to 2023. But now the NHAI is giving a new deadline. They say that by end of this year, that is December 2024, the work on this entire road will be complete. Now, why are we suddenly discussing this Mumbai-Goa Highway? Now, that is because the politics involved in it. In fact, before we get into what happened recently, let's understand why Konkan is important politically. Konkan has always been a Shiv Sena bastion. Shiv Sena that came to existence on the Marathi Manu's plank. A lot of Konkani Marathi people stay in Konkan and that is why it has always been Shiv Sena bastion. But in the last 5 years, after the BJP and Shiv Sena broke, BJP started making inroads into Konkan. In fact, Narayan Rane, the strong man of Sindhudurg, which is in South Konkan, when he left Shiv Sena and joined Congress, Congress had improved some of its clout in Konkan because of Narayan Rane's personal clout. But Narayan Rane then left Congress and then in 2019 he joined the BJP. And since then, BJP had started making good progress into Konkan. And not just through Rane, but there are other leaders as well who are trying to increase the base in Konkan. And that is why Shiv Sena's presence is in the Konkan, BJP is trying to make its presence in Konkan, and along with it, MNS, Raj Thakre's MNS, is also trying to expand its base in Konkan. In fact, last year, Raj Thakre had visited Konkan and he spoke about this Mumbai-Goa highway. He even questioned the delays on this particular highway and he said that because of the delays, the cost on this highway had escalated. Initially, the cost of this project was somewhere around 7,500 crore, which today Raj Thakre claims and NHAI also agrees that it has escalated and it is now gone up to nearly 15,000 crores. It is double the initial cost. But NHAI says that the cost escalated because the entire contractor, how the contractor ran into financial troubles, and because of that, they had to change the contractor and it took multiple delays on this particular road and that is why the cost escalated. But nonetheless, the cost definitely doubled to what it was originally planned. So for all these political parties, Mumbai-Goa Highway has always been a talking point, but no major progress actually happened. In fact, last month, two leaders, Ramdas Kadam of Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena and Ravindra Chavan of BJP, who's also the PWD minister, there was a war of words between them. Now remember, both of these leaders are in a ruling alliance in Maharashtra, but Ramdas Kadam, who hails from Konkan, He called this minister, Ravindra Chavan, a useless minister and questioned the delays on this project and said that right now there is no road and only potholes. Now, Ravindra Chavan gave it back to Ramdas Kadam and said that yes, there have been delays in this project, but right now the project is making progress. Now, in fact, even last week, just before the Ganesh festival, Eknath Shinde also visited different parts of this highway, inspected the highways and asked the officials to fill the potholes, and the contractor was later on punished as there was an FIR against him on the culpable homicide not amounting to murder, because on this particular stretch there were a lot of accidents that took place because of the potholes. So just before the Ganesh festival, the potholes look like they've been filled, but when we spoke to Ramdas Kadam as well, what he said is that every year the potholes are there on this road, and since he hails from Konkan, he had to swallow the bitter pill, and that's why he said, and he questioned the delays. In fact, he even questioned that if the Mumbai-Nagpur Samruddhi Mahamarg could be made in 3 years, why is there a delay on this Mumbai-Goa Highway, which is a very, very important highway? As we even spoke about it earlier, many people, lakhs and lakhs of people travel on this highway, but it has been nearly 15 years and the road, every monsoon, there are potholes on this road and it needs to be filled. As of now, the NHAI has given a deadline to complete this highway by December 2024, but it remains to be seen whether this actually will be completed or not, because it's just 3 months for the year to end and still lot more work to be done on this particular highway. In fact, the major hurdle is the Panvel-Indapur stretch, the 84-kilometer stretch on which there are a lot of potholes, and the quality and the construction on this particular stretch is always questionable. And when we spoke to NHAI, what NHAI told us is that this is divided into 2 packages, that is 42 kilometers and 42 kilometers. And in the first 42 kilometers, that is from Panvel to Kasu, about 39 kilometers is complete. And on the second stretch, that is Kasu to Indapur, 30 kilometers is already complete. But there are still various bridges, underpasses, parallel roads, flyovers that need to be built on this entire stretch. In fact, last year, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari visited this highway and he said that the road, except for this particular 84-kilometer stretch, the rest of the road, it's 90% complete. Yes, a lot of this road from Indapur all the way to Sindhudurg, you can see that there is concretized roads on this particular highway. It has actually expanded, but still a little bit of work is remaining. That is, some flyovers, bridges is also remaining in some portion of this highway on this entire stretch. So what took 14 to 15 years, the authorities believe that in the next 3 months, they will be able to complete the entire stretch, and the ride from Mumbai to Goa will be a smooth ride with no potholes. Well, we'll have to watch and see whether this will be completed or yet another deadline will be given by the authorities. That's all we have for you in this episode of the State Draft. Do tune in for more such episodes. This is me, Purva Chitnis, signing off.